this might be a bit controversial, but in the same way I think many people choose to look past the reality of what our country is, the standards that we now stand on. We can't ignore the reality of the history. But in many ways, I think certain people are prosecuted and maybe not recognized for the greatness, that they offer. I don't have anything negative to say about Sean Combs because my experience was not what the world has seen.
We at my house in Mexico, doing it real big, you understand what I'm saying? Tell Puffy, I said, why your pool don't look like that? You understand what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying to you, B. Don't play with me, man. Don't play with me, man. Yeah, Puffy, why your pool don't look like that? Puffy, why your pool don't look like that? Huh?
Better not, no homo, no, just don't get close to the bed. Don't get close to the bed, but it's just like, yo, we want to thank you for hosting the thing, man. It's been a pleasure. You didn't have to do it, and you did it. No, I definitely didn't have to do it. I definitely didn't have to. First and foremost, I'm not giving the bed. Shout out to him and what he did. I'm just gonna, if we can, let's just put the camera a little this way, just so we're not, I don't want my shot to even, I don't want it to come close to the bed at all. Usher look like he fresh off a goddamn plane. I should. Fresh off the garden stage. That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause, but like just, back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up early. Now he's one of the richest stars in the world. What did Puff just say?
The internet didn't just get loud. It got nuclear, and somehow, right in the center of the explosion, you've got 50 Cent and Usher circling each other like this is the final round of a heavyweight fight nobody saw coming. Because how do? You go from industry respect and smooth R&B vibes to a situation where it feels like somebody just lit a match and said, yeah, let's see what burns. Now let's talk about it because the moment certain comments tied to Sean Diddy, Combs started floating around, everything shifted. And I mean everything. What should have been a simple conversation turned into layered tension, side eyes, and that kind of energy where you can feel something brewing before anybody even says a word. And when it comes to 50? Oh, you already? No, he doesn't do silent. He doesn't do subtle. He does direct, messy, and unforgettable. And that's exactly what made this situation go from wait, what's happening? To oh, this is about to get crazy. Because once 50 Cent steps in with that clapback energy, it's not just a response, it's a whole performance. Sarcasm, shade, calculated chaos. The kind of reaction that doesn't just address the situation, it amplifies it. Meanwhile, the internet? Completely unhinged. People picking sides like it's a Marvel Civil War, turning every post, every quote, every reaction into evidence like they're building a case for the court of public opinion. Some saying Usher didn't deserve that energy, others saying 50 is just being 50, doing what he always does, turning tension into headlines. But here's the part that really makes this messy. This doesn't feel random. This feels like something deeper, something that's been sitting under the surface, waiting for the right moment to come out. Because when names like this collide, it's never just about one comment, it's about history, perception, and everything that comes with it. And now the question isn't just who said what. It's how far this is about to go. Because if that clapback was just the beginning, oh, you're not ready for what comes next. It didn't start with a clapback. It started with whispers, the kind that move quietly through interviews, clips, and conversations until suddenly they're everywhere at once. And when the topic circled back to Sean Diddy Combs, you already know that's not a light conversation. That's layered, sensitive, and packed with history that the internet loves to unpack piece by piece like it's solving a mystery in real time. Now somewhere in that mix, Usher became part of the conversation, and at first, it didn't feel explosive. It felt like one of those moments where people talk, reflect, maybe say a little too much, but nothing that should cause a full meltdown. But the internet? Oh, it doesn't process things calmly. It zooms in, clips pieces out, reposts. Then, and suddenly a simple statement starts, looking like something way bigger. And that's exactly what happened. Clips started circulating. Not full context, not full conversations, just the parts that hit the hardest. The parts that spark reactions. And once those clips hit the timeline, people started doing what they do best, analyzing tone, interpreting meaning, deciding what was really being said. Some thought it was harmless reflection, others felt like there were hidden implications. Like something deeper was being hinted at without being said directly. Meanwhile, the conversation kept growing. More reposts, more opinions, more speculation, because once the internet smells tension, it doesn't let it go, it feeds it, stretches it, turns it into something bigger than it started. And suddenly, what might have been a small moment turned into a full-blown discussion across platforms, with people debating what was said, what was meant, and who might respond next. And that's where the anticipation started building. Because if there's one thing people know about 50 Cent, it's that he does not ignore situations like this. Especially when his name, his circle, or anything connected to his long-running narratives gets mentioned. He's not the type to watch quietly from the sidelines. He watches, and then he reacts when the moment hits just right, and you could feel that moment coming. The comments started filling with the same question: what is 50 gonna say? Because everybody knew it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when. And the longer he stayed quiet, the more tension built, like the internet was holding its breath, waiting for the inevitable. At the same time, fans were already splitting into camps. Some were defending Usher, saying people were overanalyzing, that his words were being twisted, that not everything needs to turn into drama. Others, they were already bracing for impact, saying if 50 takes this the wrong way or even just decides to make it interesting, it's going to turn into something much bigger than it needs to be. And then came the deeper layer. Because this isn't just about one comment or one clip. This involves names that carry years of history, perception, and tension that's never fully settled. When Sean Diddy Combs is part of the conversation, it automatically pulls in old narratives, past controversies, and public opinions that never really disappeared. And once that door opens, everything connected to it starts getting dragged back into the spotlight. So now the internet isn't just reacting to Usher anymore. It's reacting to everything surrounding the situation. Old interviews started resurfacing. Past relationships, industry dynamics, previous comments, all getting pulled into the conversation like pieces of a puzzle people are desperate to complete. And suddenly, the situation isn't just about what was said recently, it's about everything that's ever been said. And right in the middle of all this noise, silence from 50 Cent, but not the calm kind. The kind of silence that feels calculated. Because when someone known for speaking loud chooses not to speak immediately, it doesn't feel like they're ignoring it, it feels like they're waiting, watching, letting the conversation build before stepping in at the perfect moment to make the biggest impact. And the longer that silence lasted, the louder the internet got. Speculation turned into expectation. Expectation turned into hype. And hype turned into this feeling that whatever comes next is going to shake everything up. Because by now, it's not just about responding, it's about making a statement. And then it finally happened. 50 Cent broke that silence, and the moment he did, everything that was building quietly turned into chaos all at once. And the second 50 Cent finally stepped in, it wasn't a response, it was a detonation with a caption. No warm-up, no soft landing, just straight to the point, laced with sarcasm, timing, and that signature energy that turns one post into a full-blown event. Because when 50 decides to clap back, he doesn't just reply. He performs, and the internet shows up like it bought front row tickets. Now let's talk about that moment, because the delivery, calculated chaos. The kind of message that looks simple on the surface, but the tone, the phrasing, the timing, it was loaded. And within seconds, screenshots started flying, reposts started multiplying, and suddenly everybody was reading between lines that weren't even fully written yet. And just like that, the timeline split into war zones. One side was screaming, "This is classic 50, petty, funny, and right on brand," laughing at the shade like it was a comedy special. The other side, not amused at all. They were calling it unnecessary, saying Usher didn't deserve that kind of energy, that things were being blown out of proportion for entertainment. And right there, that clash, that's where things got even louder. Because now it wasn't just about what Usher said. It was about how 50 responded, and whether that response crossed a line or just exposed something deeper. Meanwhile, the memes? They went crazy. We're talking edits, voiceovers, side-by-side comparisons, people turning this into full WWE promo battles. Marvel-style rivalries, even Zeus Network drama edits like, it was a season finale nobody knew they needed. It was messy, hilarious, dramatic, and completely out of control, but here's where things got complicated. Contradictions started popping up everywhere, because while some people were backing 50 Cent, saying he just said what everyone else was thinking, others started questioning the context. Was Usher really implying anything? Did people twist his words? Is this even about what we think it is? And just like that, the argument stopped being about facts and started being about interpretations. And you already know. What happens when interpretations take over the internet? Everybody creates their own version of the truth. Some started saying this is deeper than it looks. That 50 isn't just reacting, he's referencing something bigger, something that's been sitting under the surface for years. Others argued this is just classic trolling, a moment being amplified because it's entertaining, not because it's serious. And now the timeline isn't even arguing the same point anymore, it's just loud from every direction. Meanwhile, Usher didn't jump in immediately, and that silence? Oh, it spoke volumes, because when someone responds instantly, it keeps things moving. But when they don't, it creates tension. It makes people wonder, is he ignoring it, or is he preparing something bigger? And the longer that silence stretched, the heavier the situation felt, because now people weren't just reacting, they were waiting for a response, waiting for a counter, waiting for the next move that could either calm everything down or push it even further off the edge. And with names like this involved, nobody expects things to just fade quietly, because let's be real, this doesn't feel like a one-post situation. This feels like the beginning of something that could keep unfolding. Because once egos, history, and public perception all collide like this, it doesn't just stop, it escalates, and if people think that clapback was the peak, they might not be ready for what happens when the next response hits. Or who decides to step into this chaos next, and now, everything feels like it's sitting in that tense silence right after a loud explosion, where the noise is gone for a moment, but the impact is still echoing everywhere. Because this didn't just come and go like regular internet drama, this left a mark. The kind that changes how people look at every move that happens next. You could feel the shift instantly. The jokes slowed down, the memes started losing their punch, and suddenly people were talking about this differently. Not just as entertainment, but as something with layers, with meaning, with consequences that don't just disappear once the timeline moves on to something else, and that's when the emotional fallout started showing. Because behind all the sarcasm and viral reactions, there's always a second phase, the one where reality starts creeping in, where people involved have to deal with how things were said, how they were received, and how the internet turned it into something bigger than it might have originally been. And when you're dealing with names like 50 Cent and Usher, nothing stays small. Meanwhile, the industry energy around this situation started feeling cautious, because even when people don't speak directly, you can sense when something has everyone watching closely. Subtle reactions, indirect posts, quiet acknowledgements, it all added to the tension. Like people were paying attention, but nobody wanted to step too far into the middle of it, and that hesitation, it made everything feel even bigger, because when something is clear, people speak boldly. But when things are layered, when there's history involved, when narratives aren't fully understood, that's when people hold back. And that kind of silence doesn't calm things down. It makes them feel unresolved. At the same time, the public narrative kept shifting. Some people started saying maybe this was blown out of proportion, that the internet took one moment and turned it into a full storyline. Others, they doubled down harder than ever, saying this exposed deeper dynamics, that this wasn't random, it was tension finally surfacing in real time. And then came the quiet phase that nobody trusts, not peaceful quiet, strategic quiet, because when things get loud and then suddenly slow down, it doesn't feel like the end, it feels like a pause. Like both sides are stepping back, recalibrating, deciding what the next move should be. And the internet? It hates pauses. It fills them with theories, speculation, and guesses that sometimes go even further than the truth. Some started connecting this situation to past moments, saying this fits into a bigger pattern of how things play out in the industry. Others argued it's just another example of how quickly narratives spiral once social media gets involved. And honestly, depending on where you stand, both sides feel believable. But here's where the twist really hits. Because what if the real impact of this situation isn't what we've already seen? What if it's what happens after this that actually defines everything? Because now every move carries weight. Every post, every reaction, every appearance is going to be analyzed differently. People are going to look for hidden meaning, for subtle messages, for anything that connects back to this exact moment. And that kind of pressure? It changes how things unfold. And then there's the possibility nobody can ignore. This might not be over because situations like this don't just end cleanly. They either fade slowly with tension still underneath, or they come back louder, sharper, and even more intense than before. And judging by how this played out, this doesn't feel finished out, it feels like the setup, because right now, everything is sitting in that fragile space where nothing is fully resolved, but everything has already shifted. The perception, the narrative, the energy, it's all different now, whether people admit it or not, and that means the next move. It's not just another response, it's the moment that decides whether this was just a viral clash that fades away, or the beginning of something much bigger that nobody saw coming. And let's be honest, if you made it this far, you didn't just watch the drama, you felt it. Because this wasn't some quiet industry moment, this was a full-on clash with layers, tension, and just enough mystery to keep everybody arguing like it's a live debate that refuses to end. One post turned into a whole storyline, one reaction turned into a full breakdown, and somehow we're all still trying to figure out what really just happened. Now I need to hear from you. Who actually went too far here? Was 50 Cent just being his usual unapologetic self, saying what others wouldn't dare say out loud? Or did Usher get caught in a situation that got blown way bigger than it should have been? Don't sit there like you didn't pick a side, I already know you did. Drop your thoughts, your theories, your boldest takes. Because the situation is messy and everybody thinks they've got the real story. And listen, if you're here for the chaos, the breakdowns, the moments that make you pause mid-scroll and say, nah, this is CRAZY, then go ahead and smash that like button like it owes you money, because you already know this isn't the end. Something else is coming, a response, a twist, a moment that flips everything again, and when it drops, you do not want to be the one catching up late. Make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you stay locked in, because over here we don't miss anything. The second something happens, we're on it, breaking it down, exposing every angle, and giving you the real tea before the timeline even catches up. So stay ready, stay watching, and keep your eyes on this story. Because the next chapter? Oh, it might shake everything. This is Fame Blue, where the drama is louder, the stories hit harder, and the truth always comes with a twist.